Hi everyone, it's Sharon here, and I've just jumped on to record this message because there's a subject that I've talked about before, but it just feels more urgent again at the moment. So I'm jumped on here this morning looking a bit raggedy because no, I haven't washed my hair today, but it just was so important. I just thought I have to record this and get this out. And the reason is that at the moment, we are going through a very important time energetically, really important time. And so the subject of discernment has come up again. And I've done videos on this already, but it's coming up again. And it needs repeating and it needs explaining, I feel, why it's becoming so important. So one of the trends that I've really noticed in the last couple of years is a new addiction, if you like, by content creators, and the addiction is to create constant content. And the masculine model of marketing says, hey, you need to be consistent, regular, be in people's inboxes, be in people's videos, creating content, photos, blah, 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 constantly in order to be relevant and to be in people's lives. And the masculine model of marketing is quite a bombarding model because it's obviously masculine energy. It lines up perfectly with capitalism. And therefore, like, we are being bombarded by content. And, you know, even in the spiritual community, I can't get up in the morning without 5 emails, and I've been unsubscribing like there's so much recently, just because it's overwhelming, the amount of content. And it's because of this insistence that we must constantly create content, constantly be offering something new and fresh, and that is degrading the quality of the content that is coming out as well. And, you know, so for example, I'm totally non-uniform in how often I record a video. I'm repeating the same message to a certain degree today. I'm talking about discernment again, which is a big no-no. You must always be saying something new and different. And it's because I only really record when I feel an intuitive hit or something that seems like is becoming more pressing and more urgent, and it feels like I should say something. But I'm not a uniform content creator because there's only so much you really need to say in the world as well. But, you know, especially if you've got a podcast, and I've seen it a lot in the last few years, and there are certain, and it tends to be men, but it goes across the board. Certain content creators have got an addiction to creating content. And because of it, the quality of what they're offering has changed. Because once you start falling into this trap of this masculine model of marketing, and you fall into the trap of, you know, how many hits have I had on this thing? Has it gone viral? How many likes? How many comments? This turns into an addiction. And I don't think the people who have this addiction know they've got it. And so I'm not here to judge, because all addictions come from a trauma response, and I'm not here to judge the people who are creating it. My message is to those of you who are the content consumers to be discerning. So there is a huge amount of content available. There's a huge amount of free stuff leading to not free stuff, which is the masculine model. Provide value, make somebody feel like they want to know more, sign up and pay for whatever it is that they're wanting you to sign up and make them money with. And I get that. It's a model that works. It's been working for a long time. I don't agree with it. I refuse to participate in it. I watched something for free the other day, and it was actually really interesting. But I have had 6 emails since Friday saying, this time is running out, this time is running out, get it while you can. I'm like, Jesus, how many emails do I need? I don't need that many emails. But the masculine model says you don't buy on the first email, you don't buy on the second email, you don't buy on the third email, you need the fifth email or some shit like that. So, excuse my language. So this model is what perpetuates this content creation. We must always be relevant. We must always be different. You must always provide value. The value, though, is only being provided as a technique to sell you something at the end. So just be aware of that as well. It's not for the value for the sake of value. It's value so that you create trust, and then they can sell to you. And, you know, if you look at figures for online courses, and this came up for me because I have a membership. I create videos for my membership, and I sort of looked at how you can see with all this technology how many people have finished it, who has finished it, who's watched it, all that kind of information. And I kind of looked at it and I thought, oh, it's not, everyone doesn't quite finish everything. And I was a bit disappointed because I put a lot of effort into it and into my videos, but I was like, okay, people are busy and that's fine. And then I saw somebody online saying, hey, I created this course and I put a lot, my heart and soul into it, and people bought it. A small number bought it, but of those few numbers who bought it, no one really watched it and they were very upset. And somebody else replied, it was on a forum, and somebody else replied to say, hey, do you know that with online courses, only 20% even start it or even watch it, and most of them don't even finish it, and that's just the way it is these days. And I sort of stopped and I thought about that, and I was like, you know what, I've done it myself. I bought a course that I thought I absolutely had to have right there in that second, get all the bonuses, you know, and they have this thing called bonus stacking in the masculine model. Oh, you're not just getting the course, you're getting this bonus worth this and this bonus worth this. It's not worth any of that anyway. It's a bonus stacking. It's part of the masculine model of marketing. And, you know, so then you think you're getting more than just the course, and then you never watch it. Who's got the time to watch all these extra courses, all these extra bonuses? It's just a way of sort of manipulating you into believing you've got greater value for the price that you're getting. But how much of that actually gets watched? Not very much of it. Why? Because we're in a time in history where people are busy, even though we've got all this technology, and we are being bombarded with even more content, free or otherwise. So, you know, this idea that we're all creating content, some of us are putting our heart and soul into it, some of us are not so much putting our heart and soul into it now as well with AI technologies. You know, we can cut and recut, edit, re-edit all courses that we've done previously, and we can put it out into the world and say, hey, have you seen this? This is all new and exciting. It's not new and exciting. We've just edited old courses. So there's this bombardment of information at the moment that I think is unprecedented in society, and it's constant. And because of that, I think we feel a bit overwhelmed by this constant amount of information. And this is why, as well, discernment really comes into it. We have to really be discerning at the moment, because the actual value of that content, the actual content of the content, needs to be something that you need to spend your time on. And there is a lot of talk in the world at the moment, and there's very little valuable content. It comes out of very few providers. Some people are so prolific, they're churning out books every year. Now you don't even need to have a book deal to churn out books every year. You can self-publish, you can do whatever. So there's like the ways in which people are creating content, although it's quite liberating, you don't have to have a book deal. The problem is that everybody is saying a lot of things, and not all of that is actually truthful. Not all of it is coming from a place of truth. A lot of it is coming from a place of experience. It's just opinion masquerading as truth. There's a lot of people on podcasts who have saturated all of their original leads that they had, and now they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. And they're talking to people, and I've watched some of these podcasts, and I've only seen clips of them sometimes because they pass through my feed and my internet searches and stuff, and I say, oh, never heard of this person on this podcast, and let's give them a try. It's like a 3-minute clip, and I'm like, good God, they're talking rubbish. They're actually talking quite dangerous rubbish as well, then it's opinion. And then the podcaster is sort of going, yeah, that's really interesting. So what you're saying is this, and then they reiterate it. So you repeat it and it makes it sound more valid. And that person is saying, yeah, that's really interesting. And it's not. They actually don't understand what they're talking about. There's quite a lot of misunderstanding in what they've said, and then it gets repeated. And then they both go, yeah, aren't we really wise and clever? And it drives me insane. It really does. Because they're perpetuating it for the sake of perpetuating content. They're perpetuating stuff that actually is not valid and is not really helping. And actually sometimes, and I don't like to say the word dangerous, but it's so misleading, and it can be quite comforting. Some of these lies are quite comforting to be misled in this way, because if you don't really understand the subject very deeply, you can kind of say, oh, but so-and-so says this, and that's not right, and do it my way. And in case you haven't noticed, a lot of adverts, they start with somebody saying, hey, you think you've been doing it this way all the time. Stop doing that. That's wrong. Do it this way. That's the masculine model of marketing. To stand out of the crowd by saying the way you've been doing it, everyone's wrong. I know the secret. Follow me, my way. That's masculine model of marketing. And I see adverts of this kind constantly on YouTube. I'm watching something else on YouTube, an advert comes up saying, stop, you've been doing this all this time. It's not getting you the results you want. Yeah. I'm so bored of it. So we have to be discerning, because there is a huge amount of content out there at the moment. Much of it is not worth your time or your effort, and most of it is a manipulation to get you to buy something else. So why is this more important now than it has ever been? Because of the choice point year that we had. So I've talked about this in great detail, the great suffering leading to the great awakening. We all had a choice, suffering, which is suffering is just the perpetuation of what we've already got. And the awakening is saying, no, this reality does not reflect me, my values, and who I am. And it hasn't for a long time. And I want a choice to move into a different reality. And that's the awakening choice. So we've had that a number of years ago. I've talked about it in great detail through some of the other videos on YouTube. So please do go back if you're interested in that. But now we are at the point where those choices have been made. We're in the transition to the new realities. And part of that new transition to the new realities is that there is going to be a split. And I talked about this in a previous video, and I was quite nervous about talking about an energetic split in reality. I believe in unity consciousness, and it didn't sit right with me, but there is an energetic split coming, and it's imminent. And I saw Bentino Mazzaro talking about it. He sent out an email about 2 days ago, and he's talking about a split in realities, and it's the first time I've ever heard him talk about it. And he's, for me, one of the trusted people who you can go to for truth. And he talked about it as well. In his own way, we're all talking about these, what's happening in our own language and our own way of describing things, but he's talking about the same thing. And this split in reality is really about choosing. Again, there's another kind of choice in there, as in, who do we want to be in this reality with? Who are we sharing these values with? What are those shared values? What is the dream? And if you chose an awakening, you already know this, because you're already aware that the choice point year led to the awakening, saying this reality is not the reality that reflects me. I'm dreaming of something better for humanity. I'm dreaming of something different. And that dream is really what you're creating at the moment. We're all creating it. We're part of this creation process, this transition, where we're saying, okay, well, the suffering people are happy with the way the world is, the way it's going, the inevitable conclusions of that. They don't see a different way. And those in awakening are like, no, I feel like there's a different way for humanity to go. I feel like that maybe capitalism is churning out something that has been so destructive for so long, this masculine model of everything in the world. And this is not reflecting me in what I believe is possible. So we're in this dream creation process at the moment. That's why discernment is so important. Like, I would suggest that you are better off in silence than you are with all this information overwhelm, and not good information, quite poor quality information coming towards us, and then we're absorbing it. And whether you know it or not, the subconscious mind is still a sponge that absorbs all of these things. And we have to discern. We have to sort of say no to putting stuff in that we then have to take out. We've kind of gone past that stage now, where if you've been having all this input in and it doesn't really suit you, you don't feel like this societal idea, the concrete mind, you don't sort of feel that sits right with you. We've had to sort of been through a process of letting go of these concepts and ideas that don't really suit us, that we don't agree with, that we've just picked up subconsciously from society. We've done a lot of letting go. So stop putting in more stuff that is irrelevant. Be discerning with what information you are putting into your system, because it becomes part of your dream creation process. What is it that you want to dream new into reality? This is what is going to be creating the new reality. And so it is better, in my opinion, and it is only an opinion, so do what you wish with this information, is that we have to be discerning and focus on what we want to see in the world, what we want to be part of, the collective reality that we dream of being part of. And in the last sort of, probably just prior to the weekend, I woke up one morning and it was just like, I need to write down, like, for me, what does the new dream look like? I just felt this real strong urge that I needed to write. This is who I want to be with. These are the kind of people I want to be in my reality with. The dreamers, the curious, the learners, those that believe in the potentiality of life, not just for humans, but for all of life, and so we can all reach our potential. And I started to write, and it just started flowing and flowing and flowing of what I wanted. And it seemed really utopian near the end. It really did. It seemed like, wow, like if I was to say this out loud to people, they would think I was slightly insane. That this dream is such a high level, beautiful dream. It's almost like it seems unrealistic. And I had to stop myself at that point and say, no, it's not unrealistic. We've got to dream, truly dream big, dream, high level, meta, beautiful, utopian ideals. If we don't get there, like, okay, fine, we have a starting point and maybe we have to move towards it. And okay, we don't even know how we're going to get there based on this reality. But this is the whole point of this dreaming a new dream. It's not based on this reality. We keep, like, a lot of people think, oh, well, how are we going to get from this point to this point? That place seems so far away. I can't see the mechanism. But we're not basing it on the old dream. We're basing it completely, fully and utterly on the new reality. And so for this new reality, yeah, you have to dream big. Why dream small when we're dreaming? And so I'm back always to this subject of discernment. I've said it before, I'm saying it again. It's just so important that we do not have our minds infiltrated by other people's ideas. It has to be our dream. It has to be an authentic dream. It has to come from a place of heart, soul, spirit, unity, consciousness, call it whatever you want. And this is what we are doing now. We're creating that. So we have to discern what is being inputted into the system. We don't want any previous beliefs, previous models. We need to create a new. And it's really hard to create a new, because we sort of sometimes tend to think we create from our experiences. But actually, it's not creating from our experiences. It's creating a new. It really is creating a new. So it's about dreaming big. It's about dreaming new. It's about not filling your ideas with what has come in the past and what we think is possible and those limitations. So discern. That's all I'm going to leave you with. Please, please discern. Dream big. Go as big and as beautiful and as utopian as you can, because we're in the creation period. And why limit ourselves? In fact, don't limit ourselves. I'm not even going to say why limit ourselves. Just don't limit yourself. Dream as big as you possibly can, because this is the reality that we're creating together.